Alright, so it's 7 o'clock on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, and I'll call the meeting to order. And the first thing we'll do is stand for a moment of silent reflection. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? I just have one, and it's I feel like I'm a broken record. What? Oh, Councilor Brody has one too. Sorry. I'll go ahead first just because I'm already talking. But the closed session, and that's under section 239 2C, which is the SS number 3 Metcalfe School, which I know is the Native Women's Institute Hall. My wife is the secretary treasurer of that organization. Councilor Brody.
Number CAO2R for disposition of land of a budding landowner.
I don't see any more. And before we move on, I'll just, at County Council today, I also brought this up as well. So October 22nd was, last year was election day, so it just shows how fast 1 year can go in a 4-year council term. So I was thinking 3 years it'll be.
That was our election day?
Our election day was last year, October 22nd,
okay.
So a year flies by.
We've accomplished so much.
Well, we didn't really take office, until December, but. Alrighty, we'll move into the minutes of the previous meeting, which is October 7th, 2019. We'll move on seconder for those minutes.
So moved.
Okay, Councillor Clark, second by Councillor McKinnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. Okay, and is it okay if we just jump right into the delegation timed events?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right into our delegation timed events, which is the Property Standards Committee. And we need a motion to resolve that council convene as the Property Standards Committee for the purpose of hearing property standards appeals for 27748 Kerwood Road and 26907 Kerwood Road. And those be open at, say, 7:05. Yeah. Okay. Councillor McKinnon and Councillor Brody. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay. This is the first time we've done this, so I'm not sure exactly how the process is. Do we call up Mr. Woods to the front?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
call Mr. Woods up to the front since he's here for his, and he's here tonight to speak to the Property Standards Committee to ask for an extension. If council remembers the Property Standards bylaw that council approved earlier this year, the process is that staff can make the decision to send a letter to reach out to let them know that a complaint has been received versus giving an order, and that comes from myself, and I much rather deal with the public on a personal note with a letter versus submitting an order. Excuse me. I was gonna sneeze. Sorry. So we did receive a complaint on Mr. Wood's property, and it's in regards to 4.13 of the Property Standards bylaw for roofs missing shingles, flashing eaves troughs are missing, as well as 4.18 for stairs and porches. The porch ceiling is in need of repair, so he's here tonight to appeal to the Property Standards Committee to ask for an extension, as his date is October 23rd, which is tomorrow. And I've been in contact with Mr. Woods, so I told him to come to council and he can talk to the Property Standards Committee to ask for his extension.
Excellent. Want to come forward to the seat in front of you?
Yes, I have an old house in Kerwood, and it's in need of repair, no question about it. I have nothing to argue about. I would pray on the leniency of you to give me a few months to. I don't think we should touch anything until spring now, but that's up to you. But I've got things to remove from the house, and I need time to do that, and then I'll knock it down next year, I feel. I've got a fellow building a new house right beside me. I've known that gentleman for a significant length of time, and I think cleaning up the house is likely a very good idea. Maybe it'll make the lot a little more saleable too. I thought I had it sold, but nothing's happened about that, so we have to deal with it the way it is right now.
Okay. Councillor Clark?
Through the mayor, Joe, so this is the first time we've heard about this, because we're not privy to that until it gets to this point or there's an issue. Having said that, is there any concern that you can see whereby kids could be playing and they could be on the porch and there could be danger? Like the one, for example, across the road from you,
I think we were
Kids
gonna
could've got in there.
put something up across
to
the
barricade.
staircase there, but I don't know what you'd do.
I don't know, like, I mean, because that, like, that was the issue with the one across the road from your store is, you know, kids could get in there and do some, if they burned it down.
Truthfully, the only people that ever got in there were adults, and
Okay,
you'd never get me in there.
okay,
Because I climbed up them stairs 40 years ago, and I thought they were dangerous then.
okay. No, I'm just wondering from a liability standpoint.
Well,
If you.
I do have liability insurance, but
Yeah,
we were thinking of putting something across the stairway there to
Yeah.
prevent people from getting, but they could still climb anything we put there, they're gonna climb around it too.
If they wanna get in, they're gonna get in, yeah.
Right.
But I'm just thinking like a toddler or something, I don't
Sure.
know that you have that in town. Go ahead.
Okay. Councillor Brody?
Through the mayor, so the complaint was for shingles and just eaves trough and
Missing shingles, flashing eaves troughs that were missing, stairs and porches, so porch ceiling in need of repair.
so nothing that's really dangerous. I mean, if
Well, if a kid, I respect this, if a child got up in there, I don't see any children running around the village, but on the other hand, yeah.
But I'm saying if you could barricade it and then it's not then
Yeah,
if it sits over the winter, it might not be an issue.
my comment is you're not going to fix a few things if he's going to tear it down.
Exactly.
I can't see doing anything else.
Okay. Either.
With the gentleman building that, what are we gonna say, a $300,000 house right next door, we have to respect him too, and I do respect him.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any questions. I
Any
don't have-
complaints, any of that list, we could have discussed those same questions 25 years ago too.
I don't have any concern with it, and I just would want more of a time frame to be kind of nailed down. Will it be spring, April 1st, or whatever?
I'd like to get into May or June, or, I don't know, is it gonna dry up by the 1st of April or what?
I sure hope so.
I can't let you get in and out of there without causing a whole lot of damage. Maybe I won't demo the sidewalk either.
Well, that's just a comment I was just going to make. With
That's
that
the other
fresh
thing.
sidewalk done, you don't really want to
You don't have any equipment going on.
going across it right now.
So would June 1st be a reasonable?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. That's kind of what I had in mind.
To have it, you're they to tear it right down. Basically, what you're saying.
Pardon?
They to tear it right down is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. I can't see doing anything else.
Yeah.
Cause then maybe the ground would be dry too, I think, for everything. Okay.
So, Jennifer, the motion you have in front of us is for an extension.
Yep.
So,
So the date will go in here for June 1st, 2020, if that's what council's going to.
So I'd be prepared to make a motion.
Mhm.
Do you want me to do that?
so the only thing, I don't know what your motion's going to be, but all that I was thinking is the motion that we have in front of us is to extend
Yep.
the complaint to allow it for those things to be rectified. But realistically, what we're talking about is June 1st is that building would be removed.
Yes.
Okay.
To change the motion
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
to address, so I'll move that in lieu of, bringing the property up to standard, that we grant, an extension, well, we're not gonna extend it, so in lieu of granting an extension to the property standards complaint, in lieu of that, we will give the property owner till June 1st, 2020 to remove,
For
the
demolition of building.
well, to remove the building, I don't care how they do it, but.
Okay.
I'll second that.
That's seconded by Councillor McKinnon. Okay. Any discussion? Yeah, Councillor Brody.
Yeah, just through the mayor. Is that reasonable for you? Joe?
I think so, yes.
I support the motion.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. Okay. And then I'm assuming after that date, And if it, for some reason, if it's not removed,
I would
then,
think if
yeah.
I would call this young lady and tell her that I'm in a mess yet. I would think only person would be the guy running a hole that would cause me grief, yeah.
Okay.
But you've been very fair with me, and I think it's only right that I be fair with you.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Take the rest of the night off.
Okay, and we do have another complaint, which is in regards to 26907 Kerwood Road, and we have an email that was received from Carol Langford, and I'm not sure, Jennifer, you'd like to?
Yep,
go
so
ahead.
we received a complaint about this property regarding 3.9 of the accessory building in the section of the property standards bylaw, that the garage is not standing. So they have been working at it. The bylaw enforcement officer has been out there. But again, following the process of the bylaw that council approved, it's not going to be completed by October 23rd, which is tomorrow. So she's asking an extension.
Okay, Deputy Hendricks?
Yeah, I had a question. She mentioned that the time frame outline did not even include a dump day, so is that correct?
Correct. It's only 2 weeks. That's what council approved in the bylaw.
Okay, okay.
I'd make a motion that we honor her request to extend the cleanup day or removal of whatever the stairlight garage or building is to December 31st. And then she should have a couple of dates with between the two landfill sites.
That
To
would
be able
give
to-
3 dump days on
Mhm.
the local.
So, because I don't know the quantity or the amount she has to remove.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
Okay, I put patients off at East Hospital on today at the Blue.
Alrighty, so I'm just gonna motion now to resolve, right, okay. Resolve that the Property Standards Committee be closed at 7:13 PM and council reconvene in regular session. Okay. Councilor Brody and Deputy Mayor Hendricks, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
Point of
See
order.
you, Joe.
Yes.
Did we open a public meeting and close a committee meeting?
Yeah, we never opened the committee meeting, did we?
Motion.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Motion 2.
yeah,
It was
second.
opened.
Oh, okay.
At 7:05.
Yeah,
Right,
7:05.
yeah, we did.
Seven.
Okay, that was the committee meeting, it
Yeah.
wasn't the public meeting, okay.
Sorry, we have a public meeting?
No, it's committee meeting.
Okay.
It says property standards committee.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go into our correspondence. So the first section is our upcoming conferences, seminars, and meetings. So our next regular meeting is Monday, November 4th, then November 18th, and December 2nd. We have our emergency management year-end meeting scheduled for Wednesday, December 4th, 2019, from 10 a.m. till noon in our council chambers. And then the Middlesex County inaugural meeting is on Thursday, December 5th, 2019 at 4 p.m. And our next, at my next regular county council meeting will be when county councilors indicate if they're going to be running for warden. So that's on November 12th, so we'll know after that who will be running. The first item for correspondence is the Middlesex County 2019 Warden's Banquet Invitation. I believe Kathy has been figuring out who all from Adelaide Metcalfe will be able to attend. Item number 2 is the 2020 Roma Conference, and that's scheduled for January 19th to 21st in Toronto. Item number 3 is from OGRA, and it's their conference for February 23rd to 26th. Is anyone interested in attending either Roma or Good Roads?
I'm going to this year. I'm
You have
not
time.
working. I'm not working.
Good roads or Roma?
Roma.
I'm not there yet.
I would also like to attend Roma.
I'm interested in the good roads out of Roma last year, so. But I don't, we won't have to say for sure for a little while anyway.
Rooms to.
Rooms open on Tuesday, October the 29th, so we will need to book the room then.
Okay. I might as well put me down.
I think you get a 2-week cancellation free with Good Roads.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, it'll cost you one night.
And Kohler,
I
you'd
think one's
be
good.
going to that as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Somebody better stay home.
Yeah. Alright, so moving to the recommended readings, and correspondence number 4 is from OGRA. It's the Board of Directors highlights for September 2019. Item number 5 is from the Saddle Bayfield Conservation Authority, and it's the GM report for October 2019, as well as the October 17th agenda for the Board of Directors, the October 10th Budget Committee minutes, and September 19th Board meeting minutes. Item number 6 is from the Ontario Energy Board, and it's a notice from Enbridge Gas Inc. with their proposed pipelines. Item number 7 is additional letters in regards to the biosolid storage facility. Under the action items, item number 8 is from Ingersoll, and it's a briefing note to the letter for Minister Urick, municipal approval rights over landfills.
I would move to support.
Okay, so
I'll
that's-
second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Item number 9 is from the town of Blue Mountains. It's a resolution regarding the Integrity Commissioner matters.
I'll support that as well.
Moved by Councillor McKinnon. Do we have a seconder? Second by Deputy Mayor Hendricks. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay, item number 10 is from St. Catharines, and it's a resolution regarding menstrual products and city facilities, Ontario municipalities and school boards.
I had file.
Pardon me?
I had a file.
What does that mean? Like they're,
It means
Fine.
there's
Ignore.
nothing-
don't support, yeah.
it doesn't affect us, so.
No.
So we'll go on to the next one. Item number 11 is from the Township of Frontenac, and it's a resolution regulating provincial abattoirs.
And I feel we should support that.
Yeah, we have one of them as well, so.
Okay, so that's moved by Councillor McKinnon and seconded by Councillor Clark. And just so you know, so this was sent to me from Ralph Boss Meets. So I forward that on to Jennifer so it can be on the agenda.
Good.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing issue since before I was on council.
Yeah.
There are hardly any abattoirs left in that province.
Because of the regulations against them.
All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. And the next one is also from the Beef Farmers of Eastern Ontario, and it's a letter to Minister Hardeman regarding the regulation of provincial abattoirs. Mover and seconded for this one, Councillor Brody and Councillor Clark. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay, so we need a motion to resolve that council receive and file correspondence items CC1 to CC7 and 10.
So moved.
Councillor Pinnon and Councillor Deputy Mayor Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay, so next is our committee minutes, and we have a motion in front of us to resolve that council receive the Joint Health and Safety Committee minutes as approved by the committee of the June 20th, 2019 meeting.
So moved.
Councillor Clark and Councillor McKinnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay, going to our staff reports, and our first one's from our clerk, Jennifer.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. I have one report tonight, and it's regarding the two policies that the Joint Health and Safety Committee has approved, and it's the wellness policy and ergonomics policy. At their October 3rd meeting, they approved these two new policies. I can't recall the exact date, but I want to say it was in August. I went to an ergonomics workshop with the County of Middlesex. Ergonomics policy is not mandatory, neither is the wellness. However, because of the different jobs that we have in the township that have different strains on our bodies, and I can attest to that myself with having a bad back. It only stood to reason to have an ergonomics policy put in place. So as stated earlier in a staff report, any policies that were approved at the Joint Health and Safety Committee meetings is to be brought forward to Council for final approval by bylaw before implementation. The wellness policy, there are no known financial implications at this time, as the Joint Health and Safety Committee will identify goals and implement strategies to encourage healthy behaviors in the workplace. The township's insurance provider does offer some extended health benefits to employees, which is assessed by the employee, which could encourage healthy behaviors in the workplace depending on the circumstance. Financial impact for ergonomics policy, there could be financial implications if employees receive an assessment, recommendations, and approval by the CAO treasurer that is not covered by the township's insurance provider as stated in the policy to prevent musculoskeletal disorders, or otherwise known as MSDs. And my recommendation is that Council receive the Joint Health and Safety Policies, implementation of the wellness policy and ergonomics policy staff report as presented by myself.
Okay. Any questions at all? Okay, seconder? Okay. Deputy Hendricks, and that's to receive, is that what you just said?
Yeah, just
Okay.
to receive the report.
Okay.
Because the policies are later on in the council package under bylaws.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. And you still want these ones to approve it?
No, we don't really need to, because I have the bylaws that are down further.
Okay.
So we're just receiving it, we're not approving it.
You're just receiving my staff report.
Right.
But council, I do have a motion that you can approve the wellness policy, but if you pass it by bylaw, that's the same.
So in our bylaws at the end, we have bylaw number 69 and 70, which is the policies. So do you have any questions on the policies then?
They would be in your camera.
Okay.
Good question.
And is that under any of our sections of the personnel matters?
Personal matters, yes.
That works.
We could add that to personal matters.
So you're in there.
Wellness
We'll be there all
policy.
day tonight.
Anything else, Jennifer?
No, that's it, thank you.
We'll move on to our next staff report. That's our CAO treasurers.
Actually,
Oh,
Coulter's
sorry.
here tonight, and he is prepared with a verbal report for council.
That's good.
He's not able to attend the November 4th meeting, but he'd like to bring council up to speed on this one, so.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. I just have a brief summary of what's going on out there. Number one is construction on Walker's Drive is almost completed. Two, the new pickup truck has been delivered. It is in at Commander Industries, getting the box put on. Number three, the Kerwood sidewalks have been completed. Number four, winter sand and salt has been put up in the Napier garage, so we're ready to go. And number five, the township entrance signs have been going up as locates come in and weather permits.
Excellent. Okay, is there any questions at all for Coulter?
Through
Councilor
you,
Kennedy?
Mayor Smith, to Coulter, are we ready, like, are the trucks harnessed now and ready to go if we do get an early snow?
Through Mayor Smith and Betty Ann. We aren't quite ready yet that way, but it takes about a day and a half.
Is that
so
all?
we kind of wait until we're getting closer to calling for it anyways.
They're calling for snow next Thursday, apparently. Does that work?
That's okay. We've done it overnight before.
So, okay, any other questions at all? And do you need a motion to receive the verbal report or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, we can do that.
Okay. Motion to receive the verbal report. Okay. Deputy Hendricks and Councilor Brody. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.
approval listing for the period October 5th, 2019 to October 18th, 2019 in the amount of $649,356.83.
Okay, any questions on the accounts? Councillor McCann?
Just one, and it is on page 5 at the bottom, the middle 5, and it's the truck shop, Strathroy, the Mac number 2, 13,008.
Timmer Smith, Diane. It was actually a pretty big job. The PTOU joint had a lot of play in it, so that was a pretty. It just takes a while to fix that, and then there's 5 hydraulic hoses that were they were rubbing pretty good. And they needed to be repaired because most of those things go about middle of winter in a snowstorm. So I went down and had a look, and they were pretty bad. There were coolant lines near the engine that needed to be repaired. They were already rusting and starting to seep. Again, I saw them as well.
Good.
And approved it. So, and I think there was a sensor that was close to $1,000. So, and the labor for that stuff is almost as much as the part. So,
How long before is that on our list to get it from service within the next couple of years?
I'm not too sure. I think so because we got the new truck, so we had the bumps and stuff. So, I think the next few years.
Thank you, Colton.
Do you know what truck that is? Is that one you technically replaced with that?
I believe it is, yes.
Not
Yes.
just.
Yes. But we can double check on that and report for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other questions on the accounts? Seeing none, we need to have a motion to resolve the council approve the account listings for the period October 5th to October 18th, 2019 in the amount of $649,356.83 as presented. Moved by Councillor Brody and seconded by Deputy Mayor Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
The next report is in regard to seasonal office hours. We have traditionally adjusted office hours over the Christmas holiday season. The proposed 2019 seasonal schedule. We open regular hours Monday, December 3rd, closed December 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. Open Monday, December 30th from regular office hours, closing at 2 p.m. on December 31st, closed January 1st, and regular office hours will resume on January 2nd. All of the expenses are already incorporated into the 2019 operating budget. And in regards to the works employees, if they're called in and they have to work, they work at the regular rate. There's no, they don't get extra. It was a bonus to be closed, so they do have to attend work on those days they've called in.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Clark?
Mayor, I'd like to see the office open on Friday, December 27th. Because you're already getting the Tuesday off. A lot of businesses would go half day there. Wednesday's Christmas, then you got Boxing Day, and you're getting close to the end of the year, so you've got the Friday you're open, and then the Monday, Tuesday, following week, and then your year end.
Okay. Discussion on having the Friday, December 27th open? Councillor Brody?
Just do you know what some of the other municipalities are doing, or are we in line with that? Like I myself, I know it's a quieter time of year.
Lots of municipalities close for that, will close for that full week and not reopen until after January 1st.
Councillor Miller, you were moving right around. I wasn't sure earlier. I wasn't sure if that was an agreement or what your thoughts were.
I think I've stated that every year my concern is that we're not able to keep up on matters, and then we close for all those days. But if staff feel they can keep up and keep us afloat, why, who am I to say no?
Yeah, that's just to the public, and doesn't mean that staff aren't here doing things too.
Oh, I would have assumed that
I'm
staff
assuming no
was,
one's here.
that no one was here too as well.
We don't
I
tell
know-
anyone we're here, but some staff attend and do
Okay.
work over the Christmas break.
Okay, and while they're attending, and if it's a proposed day off, is the no overtime, it's just straight rate.
So one of those vacation days,
We never,
but they're closed, so then they wouldn't be,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about what we've never done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we did this one other year, we tried to, have staff keep holidays, aside and use our holidays up before they got to those days.
Deputy Hendricks, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent to it. I mean, if it was a tax payment date, I can see the issue. If there is staff here, I guess I'd be more comfortable with it if I knew there was staff here, that if somebody called for something that was urgent, I'm not entirely sure what that might be, but that there'd at least be somebody around to take a phone call. I know from other businesses, there's just no traffic. People aren't going out doing anything substantial unless it's the end of the year. Is not, taxes aren't usually the concern for the public. It's usually getting other bills paid by the end of the year or something.
If I may, we do put on our answering machine, the emergency numbers to contact staff, so, staff do carry their cell phones, they're on during the Christmas vacation, Christmas, days off, so that we are available if necessary.
Just one comment. So when I was going through this list, I had a very similar thought to Councillor Clark that realistically Friday, December 27th, we probably should be open if you're looking at the days and the actual holidays, being December 25th and 26th and also the 1st, that we should be open on the 27th. I just don't know how much work will get done in one, being closed for 2 days or technically 3 days and then coming back just for 1 day to then have a weekend again. I just don't know how productive.
Productivity will be low.
Yeah. Which is the reason why, so we used to be open on the Christmas Eve on the 24th until I think it was 1 or 2 o'clock.
Yes.
And it was really just a cookie day.
Yeah.
Where people came in at 11 or something, and that's why we just decided that realistically no one should come in on the 24th because nothing was getting done except for eating some Christmas cookies. So I agree with Councillor Clark that we should be open on the 27th, but I also agree that probably not a lot of stuff will get done, which I probably shouldn't be saying out loud, but it's just a fact.
I think that's the same in every workplace. I mean, I've had to wander through town like the last couple days of December to take care of stuff, and I mean it's better now because there are enforced drinking laws, but it used to be terror to try and find a place to park. That was, I really think if it's not going to be productive, I don't know why we'd really want it open.
So through the mayor,
Yeah.
the only comment I have to that is in my previous world of sitting here, oftentimes it gives you a chance to get ahead in your work if it's piling up on your desk, because it's going to be a quiet time. And I don't know, I'm just making this up, but if there's grants out there that we should be applying for and nobody has time to do it because they're being interrupted by people coming in or other staff, then that's a day that gives them the opportunity to put their head down and pedal.
And I think what Kathy's indicating is that I'm assuming
maybe
Kathy's.
Some people do take
Kathy's
advantage
yeah.
of the door
Yeah.
being locked and no phone calls being taken, so.
Yeah.
Other than those emergency ones that.
So realistically, it could be.
Realistically, it's a
day for-
productive day for
Yeah.
Some people.
some people, yes.
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 Okay. So we have the recommendation in front of us. Does somebody want to move and second that? Okay. So it's Councillor Brody. Seconder, Deputy Hendricks, and that's for approval as presented. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
Next report is in regards to the council grants policy. Council Every year, council includes an amount for grants in the operating budget. In 2019, council made significant changes to the process by setting a maximum amount of available grant and eliminating a series of minor donations. Requests for donations to support projects and individuals are received at various times throughout the year. Council also provides photocopying services and the use of the park at no cost to various user groups. This in-kind donation is not recognized in the budget. Implementation of an application process with a firm deadline would allow council to set a donation budget and ensure that funds are being utilized to support the township and or its residents. By requiring an application to be submitted, an actual evaluation of the value of the grant to the benefit of the township and or residents can be conducted. Council will have greater awareness of community events and the needs of this community. The community will also know that council provides support to user groups through in-kind services such as waiving rental fees, photocopying, etc. The budget line item amount for grants will be a stable amount rather than an estimate. Council will have an opportunity to evaluate requests annually in advance and determine the target grant amount to be incorporated into the budget. The draft policy is attached for council to review. The only thing that didn't make it to the report was the application form. It's a policy very similar to other municipalities in Middlesex County. There was a treasurer's meeting and a lot of people discussed it, and this was one that came across as being a good policy. So the recommendation is that you approve this report as presented and that you accept the draft council grant policy for review to be discussed at the next regular council meeting.
Move on, seconder. That's Stephanie Hendricks, and second by Councilor McKinnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. I guess that's to receive the report, and then the next one will be just sealed for the next one. Okay, so then the second motion, which is resolved that council accept the draft council grant policy for review to be discussed at the next regular meeting. Okay, Councilor Brody and Councilor Clark, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
The next report is in regards to disposition of land and non-open road allowance in between lots 9 and 10, concession 5. A request has been received from Mike Brody and Jeff Patterson in regards to obtaining ownership of an unopened road allowance between their respective properties at lots 9 and 10, concession 5. The subject property is highlighted on the attached map, which is attachment number 1. The Township of Adelaide Metcalfe Bylaw 22 of 2010 establishes the policy for the disposition of land by the township. A copy of the bylaw is attached with the applicable sections highlighted. The bylaw does not require a title search to be conducted. I am recommending that title search is done by a solicitor appointed by the township as part of our due diligence. The policy from bylaw 22/2010 determines, and these are the highlighted sections. The first step is that council must receive a report recommending that the subject land be declared surplus to the needs of the township. That's section 1AI. Council, or 1 I guess it is. Council may adopt the recommendation and pass a resolution declaring the subject lands as surplus to the needs of the township. So that's section 1A2. An appraisal is not required as the lands are considered closed highway, road, and road allowances. That's section 2B2. Public notice of the decision of council to dispose of surplus land will be posted on the township website. It is my opinion that the land is not developable except in conjunction with the other adjacent land. That's section 3.3C. Council directs that the subject property be disposed of by a direct negotiation process. That's section 4. The CAO treasurer will negotiate for the completion of the disposal with the interested abutting landowners and report back to council, and that's attachment C. The subject property is an unopened road allowance between lots 9 and 10 in concession 5, the former township of Metcalfe, extending from Patterson Drive southerly to the Sydenham River. The area has not been maintained as a municipal roadway. The road allowance is unopened on the south side of the Sydenham River to Melwood Drive. The cost to engineer and install a bridge over the Sydenham River at this location is estimated to be too great to recommend consideration of the creation of a road at this location. It is recommended that the portion of the road allowance from Patterson Drive south to the Sydenham River be declared surplus to the needs of the township. Financial impact. The disposal of the surplus property, where not initiated by the township, should be done at the full expense to the property owner. A refundable deposit of $2,500 from each participating property owner is being recommended. The township will draw from the refundable deposit as costs are incurred during the disposition of the subject property. The participating property owners will be requested to sign an acknowledgement that costs over and above the deposit will be remitted to the township. Any funds received that are not required to complete the disposition of the road allowance will be refunded to the respective participating property owners. And the recommendations is that council approve the disposition of land, unopened road allowance, lots 9 and 10, concession 5, report as required by the disposition of land bylaw 22/2010 and presented by the CEO treasurer. The second recommendation is that council require a minimum deposit of $5,000 to be applied to any costs incurred by the township for disposition of the road allowance at lots 9 and 10, concession 5, which was not initiated by the township. It's also recommended that the council adopt the recommendation contained in the CAO treasurer report that the unopened road allowance be declared as surplus to the needs of the township. And also that the council authorize staff to proceed with the disposition of the property identified as the unopened road allowance between lots 9 and 10, concession 5, from Patterson Drive to the Sydenham River upon receipt of the refundable deposit of $5,000 from the participating property owner or owners as recommended.
Any discussion at all? Councilman Keenan?
Through you, Mayor Curtis, Kathy. On the attachment, the map, it shows the yellow line not going all the way down, but because of the river and the topography there, that would be closed all the way down, would it not?
Well, it would only go as far as the two property owners that have requested it.
Okay.
We will have to contact the other
Yeah.
property owners and see if they're interested in having the same for themselves.
Okay.
I thought we were gonna do that when we talked about it before.
I think we talked about it, but I think it was just to go to the river, because, yeah.
Okay.
That's all that's being requested at this time, so.
Okay. Thank you.
And
So
just
once
for,
if we,
it was because if we're looking at that whole section, then how far do we also look north, and that was the whole thing, is that's why we looked specifically at the location that was requested.
it'd be nice to tidy stuff up.
Do it all at once.
So then would the next step be if we say, we support this, then all the property owners are notified and then they have a chance to speak to that, or no?
It's only the two abutting property owners.
Yeah, and they're the same people or they're different people?
They're Mike Brody and Jeff
Yeah,
Patterson.
so there's not,
Yes,
so, okay.
they own from Patterson Drive down to
Okay.
the
So
point to
we
be
had no
established.
responsibility to invite Jeff Patterson to the meeting tonight, he would have seen it on the agenda if he wanted to come,
Yeah.
okay?
He requested it, so they both signed the letter of request.
Right, okay, so that's that question, and my third question is, so the cost of the legal, like for a title search and all that would come out of their $5,000
Yes.
fund?
Correct. Yes, they would be responsible for everything.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, so we have a whole bunch of recommendations. The first one is to receive the report. We're seconder, Councilman Kinnan and Deputy Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. The next recommendation is in regards to the deposit of $5,000, $2,500 each person. We were seconder for that. Councilor Clark and Deputy Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. The next one is to declare the property or the road allowance surplus. Councilor Clark and Councilor Kinnan. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. And the next one is the last one, which
We could proceed
Yeah.
with
We
it
can
as,
proceed, okay.
because once everything is in place, we can
Sorry.
proceed, staff can go ahead.
I just didn't want to read through it again because Kathy just did. So I wanted to highlight. I couldn't figure out what word I was looking for. Councilman Kinnan and Deputy Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.
Come on in, Land Baron.
That's all
That's
the
it.
reports, yes.
Okay. So our next section is our closed session, so we need to have a motion to go into closed session under section 239 2B and C of the Municipal Act at 7:45. Councilman Kinnan and Councilor Brody, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried.
With the inclusion of the road superintendent.
There you go.
So do I need a motion to,
No, we need a motion to close the closed session.
we need the motion to close it? Okay. I did have one other thing to bring up.
You have one item to bring up? Oh, okay, then,
Been
So-
closed?
as long as it's under,
Been closed?
We close,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Run around.
See you.
Do you want
Do you want your iPad or no? You maybe should
yeah.
take it.
Okay, so it's in our closed session at 8:40 p.m. and reconvene in our regular session. We just have a few motions from the closed session, and I'll have our clerk go through those.
okay, so the first one is, to appoint Coulter Cahill as Public Works Manager for the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe.
Councillor Clark and Councillor Brody. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.
And the second one is to schedule a special closed session council meeting on Monday, October 28th at 1 p.m. Under section 239, 2B, personal matters of an identifiable individual, and 3.1, educational and training purposes.
Okay, mover and seconder. Councillor McKinnon and Councillor Clark. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.
There's one more. Resolve that council directs staff to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Mover and seconder. Councillor McKinnon. Councillor Brody. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. Okay, other business?
You're gonna hate me.
That's okay.
Okay.
Councillor Clark.
So I noticed what prompted me to think of this was the, what was it, the Osavo Bayfield Conservation, or somebody like that is starting their budget for next year. So do we have sort of a timeline, like I know you're overloaded right now, but do you have a timeline where you're thinking you might start that for the next year so that we're not doing it in June and July, that we're a little more proactive?
Mid-November.
Mid-November.
We're planning on bringing some of the capital items back for discussion mid-November. I heard from Driven Engineering, he'll have some preliminary information for me first part of November. So that can come to council, as well as Spreets will be looking at first part of November for the review of the administration building.
And to that end, has Driven started doing any
Survey
surveying?
work is all done,
Oh, great.
yes.
Oh, good, very good. I did see some yellow flags around, so I didn't know if they have locates or whatever.
They've done all of the survey work.
Perfect,
now,
that's
so,
awesome, that's
yes.
very good, thanks Kathy.
Just further to that, the St. Clair Conservation Authority are already in their draft budget process too. The executive directors have looked at first on it. And if you would like the manager, Brian McDougall, to come out, he's said he's quite willing to come out and go through the budget, the proposed budget with council. So if you'd like him to come out.
Would anybody like an update at all from St. Clair?
Kind of
Can I
feel
have
like
the
we have no
budget?
control over what they do.
We have control through Betty.
No, we don't have a whole
No,
lot to say, cause it's
no.
downloaded from,
Oh,
Yeah.
from
sorry,
Yeah.
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
where it's just a bill like the police you have to pay, you can't.
Mhm.
That's very short.
True.
I'm only one
So
voice.
no
so-
interest.
Unless they,
I'm only one voice, so it's.
unless they shock the complete crap out of us.
Deputy Hendricks?
I did, Blue Water did have a general meeting the night of our public meeting, so I wasn't able to attend, and I haven't had time to digest the report. I scanned it a little bit though, and they will be not replacing any of the trucks for pickup bins, and so we should have them out sooner than later, because we've kind of made a commitment to go to the wheelie bins.
Mhm.
We should actually proceed on that.
So the trucks that they use now that don't accommodate the wheeling bins, they're not being replaced with the they will be replaced, but not, they'll be with,
with the pickup
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah, the one driver.
do we know when that's anticipated?
There have been a couple times when the trucks have broken down and pickup hasn't happened,
Oh, okay.
so they're old trucks.
We better get on this anyways.
Kathy, I think you said Francis was planning on coming
Yes.
to the meeting?
Yes. Yeah, I've been talking to Francis about our renewal and options for us, so,
Okay.
I think it'd be nice to have him come to speak.
yes,
Mhm.
he's,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
he'll
here the
be
one
here.
night, but that
Yes.
was maybe just
He
to
just
drive
popped
by.
He just drove by,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Cause this is really new to me, but we're gonna have to figure out, like, implement, like, costs for council and the taxpayers and everything, like, for the whole project, right, so.
Well, I know in
But
other jurisdictions.
all the other municipalities have pretty well gone that way, they're not, so there should be some kind of
There are
template or whatever they have already.
two municipalities in the Blue Water region that don't have wheel
Yeah,
bins.
so,
So realistically, we should be having him come sooner than later, and that way it's during our
Yeah.
budget process and
Yes.
everything else.
Yep, and that's it, the
Yeah.
anticipation would be in November,
Okay, good.
like, hopefully the first meeting, but it might have to be the second meeting. I think his schedule wasn't working out to
Okay.
get here.
that sounds good.
I know, to address your question, my experience in other areas, I am savage to my taxes on an annual basis, and we either offload it to a tenant or you eat it, so.
And the fact is, people probably don't look at what portion of their property taxes goes to garbage collection and blue water recycling, but, I mean,
Well, they
It's
all think it's a
substantial.
lot, but we're subsidizing it, it's not a moneymaker by any means for anybody, it costs us money.
Is there anything else for other business? I just have one item. I attended the firefighter graduation last week,
Good.
where Craig Langford and Curtis Wilson graduated from the. Jennifer, want to help me out?
NAFP 101.
Thank you. So there was a handful of graduates receiving that, and it was neat to see what all the different chiefs do, from just as simple as presenting them with their certificate to as much as going from their standard, I guess, yellow helmet when they're on the job to now, since they've graduated, to having that certificate. Now they have a black fireman's helmet, and also
Oh, I didn't
getting-
know that.
yeah, so
Oh, okay.
that's not something that we do in Adelaide Metcalfe, but that's what some people do elsewhere in the county. It was kind of interesting, even getting like their bars on their shirts as well. So it was kind of neat to see what that process was, and Chief Nordoff was very proud of the two firefighters that received their certificate, and it was great to be there and seeing that happen. So,
You did a good job.
alrighty, if there's nothing else for other business, we'll go into the bylaws. We have the first one is resolved that the first and second reading be given to bylaw number 67 of 2019, the zoning bylaw amendment for Z06/2019 for Dortmund's 29025 Center Road, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the bylaw.
So moved.
Councilor McKinnon and Deputy Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. So that all three readings be given to bylaw number 66 2019, conditional building permit agreement for 28610 Center Road, bylaw number 68 of 2019, official plan amendment number 12 Dortmund's for 29025 Center Road, bylaw number 69 of 2019, the ergonomics policy, bylaw number 70 of 2019, wellness policy, 71 of 2019, confirmed council proceedings, and that the bylaws be signed by the mayor and clerk and the corporate seal be attached.
So moved.
Councilor Clark and Councilor Brody, all those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. If there's nothing else, a motion to adjourn at 8:49. Councilor Brody and Deputy Hendricks, all those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.